few reviews that I've done have had some pretty glaring mistakes. Perhaps the mistake this time around was buying Need for Speed Pro Street, but you've got to understand the circumstances under which I bought it. Really, there's another Need for Speed game?
Oh my god, man, that game sucks balls.
Really? How could I resist? And I figured it's another chance to test out the Wii's capabilities with steering.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Reviewing a Need for Speed game feels really foreign to me. Racing games really aren't my forte. Before this, I only played Excite Truck and Burnout. Before that, well, it was Rad Racer. Rad Racer! All the cool Wii owners have taken to renaming things related to the Wii, like Wiimote, Wii Views, and Resident Weevil. Yeah, that last one is pretty retarded. Now, realizing that this game had a special control scheme, I wanted to call it Weed for Speed. Then about 2 seconds later, I realized that was a bad idea. Now, in Pro Street, you participate in organized racing circuits. So, you're the new guy, and you gotta race your way to the top. This is how all racing games start out, but that's because all racing games should start out like this. No complaint here. Your arch nemesis is this Ryo Watanabe guy. That really doesn't sound like a name that you'd make up.
Seriously, is that guy real? Did EA pay him to be portrayed as a douchebag?
In addition to being a huge dick, he just gives off this creepy vibe. Almost like he'd bite off my finger to get back his precious. I guess his mother didn't breastfeed him. Well, the controls. There's nothing to say other than they work just fine. You tilt your sideways Wii remote either left or right to steer. Not to the extent of Excite Truck, but hey, not all developers are high in angel dust. You race in all sorts of different tracks across the United States, so you get a bit of variety in your racing. There's one problem with this Portland track. It's not raining. Yeah, I live in Nevada, and not all of it is this barren desert. Wait a minute. Yeah, my bad, it is. You won't always be driving in a circle. There are other events like drifting and drag races, but no matter what you're doing, the controls always seem appropriate. And this is where I think EA deserves a pat on the back. Even if they are an evil corporation, they seem to be doing the least stupid things with the Wiimote. It seems that everybody I know jumps on this bandwagon every time they play a racing game like this. It's called Let's Hate the Announcer bandwagon. However, I think most of these announcers do a good job. Stryker in Burnout 3 had the opportunity to be a complete pervert, and he only utilized it twice. That is honorable. And the announcer in this game, Jay, adds a bit of realism to the game. But in doing so, the writers take it a bit too far. Without fail, every game day soundbite, he is interrupted.
Wait, did anyone else get a chance to... Oh, dude!
I admire what you're trying to do, but sheesh, if I was interrupted this much, I'd never get a review done.
It's one of those games that other online reviewers would call a must-have, or... It's one of those games that other online... Oh, for Pete's sake. Yeah? Okay, dude, I have been made aware that the ring is on her middle finger, so please, leave me alone!
And speaking of voiceovers, I think I should let all you know that in between the time that I filmed myself and me recording my voice, I got sick. So the more I talk, the more hoarse my voice is gonna get. I hope you all can find humor in me getting a disease. I refuse to tell you what I think of the music in this game because no matter what I say, somebody's gonna disagree with me and flame. That's just the nature of the internet. It's that techno-trance stuff that all sounds alike, but that's probably because most of the songs are made by Junkie XL, and they're all 7 blood-curdling minutes long. It's awkwardly mesmerizing, though. I really had a lot of fun when I was customizing every little detail on my car, which was awkward because I knew I should be hating the game for some reason, and then late one night it hit me. This is just a racing sim with bad graphics. Well, all things considered, the cars look alright, but everything else looks bad compared to what we expect from racing sims nowadays. And plus this frame rate. And finally, the game lost all of its appeal when it went to Texas and I had to stare at that landscape. If I may go off on a tangent, I don't quite understand the success of racing sims like Forza Motorsports 2. A game like Forza attempts to capture the finesse and realism of racing. It's also incredibly boring. Well, you can't directly blame Forza and Need for Speed because I'm inherently morally opposed to racing games in which you have to slow down for corners. So in the end, we're just left with an incredibly obtuse racer that just tries too hard.
Deep down, I really wanted to finish Pro Street just to see how Ryo was portrayed in the ending, but just venturing a guess, it probably goes a little something like this. While playing through Pro Street, I remembered that there was another Need for Speed game made not too long ago that actually had a little bit of fun with itself. What was I doing? I really don't know what's so significant about this name Carbon, besides it being the name of one of the canyons in the game. But hey, at least you won't be driving through the Nevada desert. What in the blazes is going on?
Oh, way to be boring, EA.
Hi,
Oh,
I'm
hi.
Emmanuel Vaugier.
I'm
The
Smart
moves
Dain.
that you and your crew do in the game are meant to stay in the game.
You don't
In
say.
the real world, drive safe,
Uh-huh.
obey the laws of the road,
Uh-huh.
always wear your seatbelt.
Ah, 'cause the last thing we want is kids getting ideas from Need for Speed games. Need for Speed Carbon takes place in Palmont City, but it might as well be Dark City because it's always nighttime here for some reason. You do the whole racing and drifting rigmarole, but it plays more like a game of Risk rather than the linear progression of Pro Street. You meet up with some friends that you screwed over a while ago, and now you gotta race for them. The goal is to dominate all the territories in the city. Bunch of immature wannabe gangsters. The graphics are practically identical to that of Pro Street, but there are a few things that I believe make it a better game. First of all, you have team members that can help you out in races, so it adds an element of strategy other than drive really fast. Second, your car can go into bullet time. Now I always fail to utilize this correctly, but I'm just glad it's there. Third, even though it's a free roaming racing game, you can jump to events and restart them if you lose, which is more than I could say for some racing games. And last, since my hobby is video editing, I can really appreciate these cutscenes with actors on green screens. Hey, it's Mark Bozon. Fatty fat fat. Iken has cheeseburger? No, you cannot has cheeseburger. This fatty ate 'em all. It ain't all good, though. If a policeman catches you in the middle of a race, you can easily have 15 squad cars looking for you and setting up roadblocks by the time you finish. That gets annoying. And why does the control scheme keep on changing on me? Sometimes I hold it forward, sometimes I hold it sideways. It even suggests that I have the nunchuck connected while I play this game. Why? I like Carbon better, but I still have to slow down for corners. So in the end, I'd only suggest these games to car enthusiasts and if your name isn't Ryo Watanabe. While playing these games, I decided I wanted to try them out with the wheel that comes with GT Pro Series. I could review that game, but I really don't want to. First of all, it blocks the IR camera. What kind of crap is that? It is now impossible to navigate the Wii menu. Plus, when using it, I always feel like I'm going to snap the Wii strap. And it doesn't feel like a real wheel. The turning axis is not in the center. Instead, it's on whatever button you're using to accelerate. Other than that, like the Wii Zapper, it steadies your hand and might improve your performance. Might. Oh, I forgot to mention, it leaves a residue on the Wiimote.
Well hey Ubisoft, I don't need your stinking wheel. I've made my own.
This has been Alright Fine GT Pro Series. I tell you what, this game is very easy to dislike. It's cool that there's a ton of licensed Japanese cars, but why would you go and destroy the credibility of your license by making it a cel-shaded racer? And the music? Well, if you just put some high-pitched J-pop voice over it, it'd be a DDR song. Ay, 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 my little butterfly for Wii TV.
Well hey Ubisoft, I don't need your stinking wheel. I've made my own.